So, what is it like to purchase a used Integra DE4, a fifth generation Acura Integra? I purchased my Integra about a month ago. Overall, been a good experience. The first thing I did was I made sure all of the parts and the components, the fluids were good. There were a few things that did stand out that required more attention. When I received this vehicle, the previous owner had not brought the car in for the Integra recall. So there was a recall issued, I think, in 2023 or 2022, I don't remember. I brought it into the dealership to get the recall done. It's like an hour, 2 hours max procedure. Basically, I think they're just lubing the worm gear, which affects the steering of the car. So that was my first time at the dealership. After that, I did try to change the oil on the vehicle. The previous owner just really did not want anyone to change the oil because they torqued that thing on so tight. I spent like a good half hour to 45 minutes trying to get that thing off. So I ended up taking all the parts that I had, the new motor oil, I had a new drain plug as well, new washer, new Honda OEM filter, and just brought it to my mechanic. And I was like, hey, I cannot get this drain plug off. The other thing that I had to address was the vehicle had a lot of rattling noises or like kind of clunking noises. First thing I did was I checked the suspension by pushing down on either strut on all four corners just to see if there was, if I could reproduce that sound. Nothing came of that. I did check underneath the vehicle just to see if there are like loose panels, splash shields, things like that. I did notice that the lower engine splash shield was missing a ton of like bolts and clips and stuff, and it was hanging. Okay, this might be what's producing the sound, so I ordered some of the OEM parts, the bolts and the clips, and I started installing those, but the clunking noise continued. So I checked the end link and it had some play in it, so I went ahead and I ordered the OEM parts. I swapped out both front end links. I test drove the car and it didn't fix anything. The clunking was still there. At that point, I was like, I don't really have a lot of time to keep messing with it. And so I ended up taking the car back into the dealership, knowing that I still had some time and mileage left on the warranty, the original warranty. So I described the sound to them, and I was like, hey, like, I keep hearing this noise. And they took a look, and lo and behold, it was the strut. The strut had given out, and it was clunking. And I should have known this, because if I remember correctly, on one of my older vehicles, that was one of the issues. I had clunking on an old vehicle too. It was used when I bought it, and it also had a similar clunking noise. So in this case, it was the strut, and so I had to leave my car at the dealership for like four or 5 days, and then they replaced the one strut. They didn't replace both front struts, which I guess they don't have to. For me, that would have been ideal, but I did look it up. They don't have to replace both. They usually just replace, just whichever strut is damaged and needs replacing. But after they swapped that out, then the clunking completely disappeared. So I did pick up the car when they were closing. When I was driving back home, I noticed that you had to steer it a little to the right to go straight. When they replaced the strut, they didn't do an alignment, or if they did do an alignment, it wasn't a good one. Because I never had this issue before they replaced the strut. So it turns out that the America's Tire near me, they just started doing alignments. And so I took my car, walked it in, and then they did it really quickly within like 30 minutes. And they showed me the sheet. Yeah, and lo and behold, it was not aligned. It was off. There were a bunch of, if you've ever seen an alignment sheet, it had a bunch of red. And so after they fixed it, it was all in the green. So the only thing that I have to do now that's like a major thing on my list left to do is to change out the manual transmission fluids, get that started clean. I do have like a small laundry list of other things that I still need to do or still want to do to the car, but yes, I'm glad my car is kind of at a neutral state now. I will say that the person who owned this car before me, yeah, I found some K-tuner stickers under the hood in the engine bay, which might explain a lot of the other things that I found in this vehicle, which I might go over in other videos. But yeah, despite all of those, little hiccups and challenges and stuff, it's been a huge pleasure driving this vehicle. Yeah, if you're interested in this stuff, subscribe, like the video, I guess. Anyways, see you guys next time.